Hello everybody, Incon here with another episode of your Twitching Answers, guys. Answering the questions that you left in the comment on our last Twitching video, which of course means that don't forget to leave your questions here in the comments or find a question that you agree with and make sure to upvote it. I'm more likely to pick a question that's been upvoted as more people want to see that question get answered. Even if it's a silly question, I'll even answer it. Who cares? So getting right into it. Speaking of silly questions, Tornan asks, is it hard to play mid because you have to rotate to steal all of Allied's kills? Now, that's a more serious question than you might think that it is, So, I have to communicate now with Allied. I have to say, Allied, can you bring me over a kill? And he'll say, Incon, shut up. And I'll go, Allied, can you just bring one over, get it like 90% down, and then I'll throw a Kraken and I'll kill it. It'll be great. I'll waste my ultimate, then we'll lose the next team fight. It'll be wonderful. It's a whole great situation. Allied really loves being away from me, actually. He probably is having the best time of his life. Kiki's like not taking a single kill. Allied's like, yes! Our next question from Sturm Ken. Incon, what can I do to learn new roles that I struggle with? And that's a big question. Especially for people that want to learn new roles. I'm learning a new role right now. And so I think this is actually a great question right now for me to answer. And the biggest thing, if you really honestly want to learn, and there's a difference between wanting to know a role and wanting to know a role, right? There's I want to be able to play it and I want to be able to oomph it, okay? And what I would do before you even think about playing the character, or playing characters, right, is you need to figure out who you're going to play in that role, right? So you got to figure out who's in the meta. If you're playing mid, if you're playing mid, go right to the big guys. Go Janice, go Zhongqi, go Zeus. Go the big boy characters, go the best characters. Don't be trying to play the situational characters. Go right for the main characters. So figure out who the main characters are. Maybe you watch a tier list on somebody's YouTube. A lot of people do that. Try to find out what characters in the meta. Secondly, watch videos of professional players in that role. Okay? Something huge that I did, especially right when I came into the competitive scene, when I was learning support. I came into the competitive scene as a mid player, had to switch to support because of team reasons. You know what I did? I watched hours of Jeff, Hinla, and Shadowkey footage, because at the time, they were the best support the game had to offer. And when you were talking about support, you were talking about Jeff, Hinla, and you were talking about Shadowkey. So I watched a whole bunch of footage. I watched them play live. I think Shadowkey used to stream back then. I used to watch all kinds of stuff. Watch their positioning. Who are they playing? What are they buying? So I got my build down. Those are all very important, and that's one of the best things you can possibly do to learn a new role. Eddie Scott asks, which of the competitive teams do you think is the strongest and why? I'll do this for each region. Going to Worlds right now. For me, North America, it's quite clearly Cloud9. I think that if we would have gotten to go against them, it would have been a close match in the finals. I think they probably still could have won. By could have won, I mean probably would have won. I gave it 3-2 Cloud9 in that situation. I do think us losing to enemy was an unfortunate situation. It happened. We didn't play as good as we could have. And Cloud9 is definitely the strongest team in NA right now, as is shown by their consistency, and I think that's what their best thing. I don't think that if every team, so if every team plays up here, right, every team is playing right here, in terms of their peaks, I don't think Cloud9's peak is quite as high as other people. I think Cloud9 have a range. They have here's their range, right? Here's them at their worst, here's them at their best. They're so consistent compared to some teams, they have one game they're down here, and they have one game they're here, and one game they're up here, and then they're back down here, and then they're here again, and then they're here again. So I think that's their best thing they have going for them, is they're always right here in the 90 to 95 range. Always consistently. But if somebody plays 100, then they can beat them. But they're always consistent, and that's what makes them such a strong team. As far as Europe goes, that was a weird situation how that kind of all turned out, with the seeding. I still think Epsilon is probably the best team out of Europe. I think that this was, one of their first lands. I think that it was great to see how they played, how they played after they lost. If they could take that knowledge and learn from it, because it is a big deal, taking the knowledge. They haven't really lost all season. That was their first real losing. They take the knowledge, they use it to be effective, right? Going into Worlds, they study with it, they don't get down, they strengthen each other with it. Then I think Epsilon is definitely the best team in Europe right now, with Paradigm being right behind them. JK Fry asks, does Envious plan to make any changes to god pools, playstyles, or anything like that going into Season 3 outside of you and Kiki switching roles? This is actually a question that, while we do get asked a lot, we can't really answer, and that's because we don't know how Season 3 is changing. If all of a sudden Season 3 is a one-lane joust map, then, all of a sudden, yeah, everything changes like crazy. But, if it's the same kind of map and the same kind of characters and the same kind of meta, then nothing really changes, then we don't really change, We will change with the meta, developing a meta that we are comfortable with to play. Atticus Rays asks, which gods have the best shoes? To which I respond, if Aphrodite's got heels on, then there's really no questions because, let's be honest, legs and heels is like, wow, beautiful. And lastly, Huzefa Painter asks, how do you get into the SPL? Do they just pick you out of the crowd by seeing your plays? Do you get it by being in High Masters League? Details, please. So, this is very situational for a lot of people. Number one way is networking. You have to know people. Play with professional players. The best way to play with professional players is to get high tier and ranked. You get high tier and ranked, you're going to be queued with pro players. If you're queued with pro players and you play well, they're going to remember your name. If they remember your name and somebody leaves the team, then they're going to be thinking about you for replacements. Or if you want to be a sub, that's a great way to get into the competitive scene. A lot of great players get into the competitive scene by being a sub. Best example for me is Snoopy. Snoopy was a sub for Denial, the 4th place team in North America, for a long time until eventually, he made his own team and they kicked ass and they became COG Red and they went to Worlds and they did great and then they were TSM. Whole storyline, right? All from a player that was a sub. That's another great way to get in. So get high in rank, play with players, network with players, sub for a team if you can, be friendly, be proactive, and don't be an ass in ranked. If you're an ass in ranked, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to pick you up to be on a team because nobody wants to have an ass on their team. It's just not going to happen. And so, guys, I want to end this video with something a little bit different than we normally do. We only had one of these videos, so I say normally. It's like normal that one time. But there's a new thing I'm doing on my Twitch channel, guys, which is for every new subscriber that we get, I write them a little poem. I write them just a little tiny poem. It could be kind of fun. It could be funny. It could be sensual. It could be dark. It could be like soul, like in your heart. Like, oh, I felt that, man. So I wanted to read you guys a couple of them that I did and try to see if you guys like it. If you like it, we can do a couple of things with it. Let me know in the comments. We can either just put them at the end of these twitching answers videos and we'll just do a couple of them and have some fun there. I could make it its own video series. I could do like poems with Incon or something. We could do its own series. Or if you hate them and you don't think they're any good, then we don't have to put them in any more videos. But I just thought we'd throw it out here on YouTube because I know a lot of you guys can't get to the stream, and the stream has really been enjoying these poems. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to read you a couple of them from today. Every poem actually includes the name of the person. The name of the person in this first poem is Lost the Game. Some may know I lost the game, but I lost on purpose just to whisper his name. Drenched in booze, my main man Bacchus. And who knew he was political? He wants to go show me his caucus. So that's the first poem, right? That's the first one. So obviously, that's looking towards, that's more of the funny side, that's what we're going with that one. Here we go, next one. This one we're going deep. We're going deep with this one. This one, the name was for Walkin' in Shadow. Walkin' in shadow. Lost my mind, where did it go? Is it yesterday, today, or tomorrow? My brain is an asylum, and I'm stuck below. Drop the mic. Walk out? Nah. We ain't going to end it with a sad one. We ain't going to end it with a deep one. We're going to go right back into it. We're going to go funny. This one is for a guy named Marine Madness. I open to you, Marine Madness. Tell you to make my body your canvas. You apply mascara, a golden yellow, and you tickle my feet, because you're a silly fellow. And at the end, in the mirror, I saw, what the hell, man? You painted me like Neja. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. Let me know if you like the poems. And don't forget to leave some comments down there, guys, to answer questions for the next twitching video, which will be out in a couple of days. Thank you guys for watching the video, and thank you for those of you that subscribe and remove ad blocker. And as always, have a twitching day, y'all.